Okay, now am I audible clearly? Now am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whatever we discuss, is this okay for you, or you have any doubt, or you have any question in your mind? What happened? Uh, there is some range for each data type, for int, then for float, then for char, is it for float also, char also. Okay. Uh, one more data type is long. So when we say about the int, for int, the range is minus 32768 to 32767. For float, it's minus 3.48 exponential to 3.4 e. For character, it's minus 256 to 255. Almost all character will cover in the same range. For long int, the range is 2147483647 to 2147483648. Okay, so what happened when your calculation, the I declare the variable as an int, and your range will be more than that, so it will generate an error, or it may give a garbage value, or it may give us some other missing, or any type of garbage value we can say. It will not give you a proper value. So for the same, you have to change your int into the long int. Just like for int, you use the format specifier as a percent %d. For float, you use the format specifier as a percent %f. For character, you use the format specifier as a percent %c. And for long int, you have to use the format specifier as a percent %lt. So these are the format specifier which we are used widely. Okay. So if you think that your range of int is more than 32767, so you have to just use it as a long int. So it's a program where we calculate simple interest. Also in previous program, we just reverse a number in this way. Uh, One more common program, mostly asked in interview or in most of the competitive exam, that you have to write a code to check the number is palindrome or not. The logic is very simple. The number is palindrome if your reverse number and if your original number will match. For example, 454. So if I reverse it, so the reverse is also 454. So it's a palindrome. But in our case, if I take a 645, the reverse is 546. So it's not a palindrome. Okay. So if I use the same logic here, so what we required? We required one more variable OR. Now what happened when I receive the value in num variable, and when I perform the different operation, the value of num are going to change. So to maintain this, to, main, to maintain this number, we use one variable ORI, and ORI is equal to what? ORI is equal to num. Now num are going to assign into the ORI. Okay, then we are write a logic to reverse a number. and after reversing it, we use if statement. So in if statement, if ORI equal to RE, if ORI equal to REV, then we use printf statement, number is palindrome. Okay. And if here our original number is stored in ORI variable, so ORI else not a palindrome. So in else we are going to write printf %d is not palindrome. ORI. So just we add one if else statement ORI and RE. To be handed this, I want to explain this statement also if and else. What happened? Now I just change little bit logic. It's a beauty of programming language. That means you can achieve a new task, you can achieve a new assignments by changing a little bit in your existing code. It's the beauty, or we can say that the feature of a programming language. Okay, so what I did, I have the already logic of reverse a number. Okay, and it executed successfully. Now what? Your senior told you that that you have to write a logic for palindrome number. So what you should do, you just check the logic of reverse number, and you have had only 3 to 4 lines of code. Okay. Now I know the logic is that I have to compare that reverse number with the original, and if it match, then it's a palindrome. Else it's not a palindrome. So what should I do? I declare one more variable ORI. I store the original value in that, so that it must be maintained throughout our program. Because if I store in num and directly I am going to check it with the num value, so the value may change in the program due to the operation performing it. You can observe first at num there is 645. It's okay. Then num becomes 64. Then num becomes 6. So you can't maintain the original value in num. So I use one variable ORI. I assign it into the ORI, and then I check it with the REV. Now if ORI equal to REV, so then it's a palindrome. Okay, and if it not match, then it's not a palindrome. Okay, so just save some changes which we done here, and compile it, and then we run it. So let's take example of 545. So 545 is a now you see the output is not proper. It comes in the single line. So use the backslash and operator, next line character operator. So that the output will be in the next line. ठीक है, in the 3-digit number 545, 54. So reverse number is 454, and 454 is palindrome. Okay. For next input, we will try 657. So the reverse number is 756. 656. 757 and 756 is not match, so it's not a palindrome. So it's a simple logic which we have to use to check. Okay. Now about if else, some points you have to keep in mind. Condition is always written with the if keyword. There should not be any condition with else. Else is simple a keyword which you have to mention. After that, out of if and else, only one block will be executed, other block will be ignored. For example, if the condition is true, so the if block will execute it and else will ignore. But if the condition is not true, then if block will be ignored and else block will be executed. Out of two block, one block must be executed compulsorily. Okay, either if else, either if or else. It should not happen that both block will execute it. It should not happen. Only one block must be compulsorily executed. Okay, so it's about the if else statement and to check here about the palindrome of the number. I think you all now aware about some basic program. You have to do lots of practice. No doubt, practice is important for this subject like maths. Okay, now we are going to switch on uh, function topic, which is much more important. Two topics is much more important in C campus point of view. One is function, another one is pointer, and after that, third position string. So function, pointer, and string are the most important topic. But for the same, you must know about the basic. So I cover this. Okay. So we move on the function. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So when we talk about the function, so what is a function? If anyone asks you about a definition, so it's a single line definition that it is independent. Independent. What is very much important. Independent block of statement, and more technically, rather than statement, it's instruction. Because every statement, every code is nothing but the instruction. Remember, whatever you write main, you write scanf, you write printf, you write any logic in the program, all are the instruction. Okay, and there is little bit different between function and programmer. A set of instruction is a program. A set of instruction is a program, and function is what? It's an independent block. Independent block. So for any function, there are three parts. One is return type. What is the return type? Your function going to return which type of value? It may be int type, it may be float type, it may be char type. Then name of function, and then argument list, और इसी को ही हम बोलते हैं, the same is known as the parameter list. So return type, name of the function, and argument list or the parameter list. Okay, it's not compulsory that every function have the parameter, just like if you say about the main, void main or main, which we write it's simple. a main function. There is no parameter inside that main function. Okay. So it's not compulsory that there must be a parameter in the main function. Or any function, parameter must be there or not. Okay, depending on the situation. Now, basically, there are two types of function. One is user-defined function. Second one is library function. So library function means the function which are already defined by the C compiler, and its execution or its task will predefined, just like scanf. Scanf is always used to scan the variables and to put the value into the variable. It's an input type of function. Or printf function, the output type of function. Okay, scanf, printf function, getch function. Okay, so the work of this function or the task of this function is predefined. Or if we go for the string, then strcpy, strcat. If we go for the file, then fopen function or fclose. Right. So all are the library and many more. Just put some example here and many more. Okay. User-defined function is what? It is not previously defined by the compiler, but the C compiler provides the utility for this that user can define the function. Just like for to calculate area of circle, I define ACIR function. User-defined function name may change. Yeah? You can give name accordingly your choice. You can rename it as AR underscore C or AR underscore CIR or AR underscore circle, whatever you want. Or what you say, to check even or odd, you create a function easy1. This type of function is there. Or to check whether the number is palindrome or not, you create a function is PAL spal. Okay. One more important thing, always remember, main is user defined function. It's important. Many of you students define main as a library function and it's predefined. No, it's totally wrong. Only the keyword is predefined. Main keyword is predefined, but program may change as per your logic. Sometimes to find even or odd. Sometimes you write code to find palindrome or not. Sometimes you write a code to check to calculate area of circle. Sometimes you write a code to plus a number. So whatever you write inside the main, as per that the function will work. So the main is user-defined function. Okay, so this is all about the function user-defined library function. It has a return type. It's a name of function. It's an argument list. For example, if there is a sum function, if I have to define a function to calculate the addition of two number, so what if I add a two integer type of number? So I will get a result as an int. So the return type is int. Name of function is sum. Two number if I add, so I require two variables to pass into the function. Likewise, so this is the prototype of the function. It is known as prototype. So this is nothing but the prototype. In some intent. Okay. Now, if you have to write a function to calculate area of circle, so you know the area of circle is in float. Okay. So when we calculate the area, so the resultant value must be a float because mostly the measurable quantity we put into the variable of float type. So At that time, it's a float. Okay. Then name of function here underscore CIR. Next, you require the argument as a radius. Calculated without radius, you can't calculate area of circle. So float right. So this is nothing but the what prototype of the function. This is all about the prototype of the function. So whenever you have to define any function or you want to define any function in your program, you have to mention the prototype of the function. Okay, you have to mention the prototype of the function before main, and then you can use that function inside your program. Okay, how we use function, how we write a function in program. So we take a look of this. Okay, I just copy some basic syntax of our program so that it save our time. Okay, now in this program I'm going to define two functions. One calculate the addition, that means sum of two number, and in the same program I write to calculate the logic to calculate the area of circle. Okay. So int for the sum value, int it, because I'm going to pass two variables arguments. These are the argument list. These are known as the argument list. Float CIR, float because radius is always in. Okay. Now when we are going to define the function in the main program, and if you are pass the value to the function, you require the input data from the user. So I just mention num1, num2, and ready for radius. So there is here to clear the output screen. Printf. Bring two num. Here, most specifically, we give the message to user for now. Our function is sum. So sum, we got two values in num1 and num2, which we have to pass in our function. So num1 and num2, which you have to mention here. Semicolon. Now, what function do? Function will calculate addition and it will return to the function which are we define in the main. So the value will return towards the sum after addition. So we have to receive it. So we make some one variable IS. Here also mention that variable IS. Okay. Similarly, if you have calculate area of circle, So we have to give message to the user printf enter radius circle. Was silly mistake which we have done here. We mentioned the radian int, but it's a measurable quantity, so we must define it into the float. So we correct our mistake. Now again we have to define scanf and then %f %of start. Okay, so the second function name is CIR, and here we define it as whatever output receive is stored it into the variable ACR. Now we have to print this both result. Now that means we have to print the summation which we got from the sum function and the area of circle which we got from the function AR underscore CIR after calculation. Okay, so I just remove the underscore from here because it confusing function name and variable which we define for the store the value. So here printf summation equal to SIMD, and the answer is stored in RES variable summation. So backslash n. Okay, then again printf calculate area of circle. So we can use backslash n so that we will get output in next line and it will be the proper visible to us. Area of circle %f b c i r. Okay, so here our main program is in what I say. Our main program is end here. Now we have to define a function where exactly our logic is there, and we are going to calculate these two things. So very first we define the sum. So prototype with us int return type sum is the function name, and we require two variables int n1 and int n2. Okay, one more variable I define here for int res. So res equal to n1 plus n2, and finally we return the result, that is res. So we are going to return the res value. So this is a simple logic. Now this res which we define here, res is going to return to this function, and this function will assign this res into the okay. This res will assign into the res. Now you may ask question that this res and this res are same and it may generate an error. No, because this res which you define here, it is inside this sum function block. Its scope, its limit is only to this block. Okay, and after returning this value, the value will be returned to this sum, and this res function will work. Okay, so you can use the same name also or different also, so it doesn't matter. We are going to use it. So for same for the area of circle, so AR underscore CIR then float. Now to receive the radius, we have to define r float, and here we have to calculate the area. So you can use ACIR function. So ACIR is equal to 3.1412 into R into R, and this value are going to return into the main. So return ACIR. So in this way we are going to calculate the area of circle pi r square, and this return value are going toward this ACIR, and it will be print by using this printf function. Okay, it's a simple logic with the right function. I will going to elaborate it more properly. First, we see the execution of this. So save. One. So we just compile it. Okay, just run it. So enter in two number for addition. So the two number is 56 and 78. Then the next message is enter radius of circle. So 8.9, and we will get the summation, and we will get the area of circle. Okay. Now you just observe that the logic is same, but in this program we use the different function. One function about the area of circle, and another function about the summation of numbers. Okay. Now you just try to concentrate one by one. This is known as prototype of the function. Prototype of the function. Okay. This is the simple prototype of the function. It's important to define the prototype. Whatever function you are going to use in program, you have to define here, because compiler don't know about this if you are going to use the user-defined function. Okay, so if you define the prototype here, so the compiler know that this type of function will be in main, which have to return the int value, and which have the parameter as a int. Okay. After that, this is known as calling function. Okay, when you write any function in main, so it's known as calling function. Okay, like here is also you are going to use the calling function. Okay, so whatever you are writing in, it's a calling function, and this is the call function. Okay, this is the call function. Okay, and this is known as the body of function. This is all about the body of function. Okay, body of function. It's a return value. Now, if again one more thing, this is the dummy argument. Whatever we write here, it's a dummy argument. Okay, with calling function there is always with call function there is always a dummy argument. So here we use dummy argument. Why dummy? Because here I use N1, N2, but if you use num1, num2 or number one, num2, then it's also okay. It's not bad. Okay. So same way, dummy, because name may vary here. It's not fixed. But in case of calling function, this num1, num2 must be your variable name, okay, which we define here. Num1, num2 are red. So it's an actual argument. It's an actual argument. Okay, so it's your actual. Okay, so these are the type in which, because rad is fixed now. Whatever you define here variable, you have to use the same name. So it's the actual one. But for the same, instead of rad, if you use r, just like here, I use the simple r. Okay, then it's also work, because the value of rad which are received from the calling function are stored into the r, and which we multiplied here. So it's a dummy argument, it's an actual argument, and both the function which you write here are the type of what, user defined. Yeah, because why? Because these function are defined by the user. Instead of sum, you can use the name summation also. Okay, AR underscore, you can use the AR underscore circle also. So it's not fixed. So you can use the user defined function. One more thing, if there is nothing to return, so you have to write void message. For example, it's a function name message. Okay, now this is the function without argument. Okay, no argument will define, and here we call another function, just like after this, if I write message, there is no return type. Just like here, we use equal to sign and res variable, that means some values return. Here also we use ACIR, that is some value are going to return. Like in message, there is nothing to return, so we just write a message. Okay, so simple void message. Okay, and whatever message you have print here, just write printf. I am in message. Output like this. So, I need to number for addition. I'm just trying to fix this. Circle 7.8. After that, the message function will execute. I am in message function block. Then it will generate the summation, and it will generate the area of circle. So the order of execution. Okay, just like if you want to print the message previously, so Control X, so shortcut. So I just cut it. I save, compile, run, run. 34, 45, 5.6. Now if you observe, I am in message function block print filter because the position I change here. Okay, I put this function at the end before get search. Before get search, so I read at the bottom. So you just go through this code, and meanwhile, if you have any doubt, you can ask. There is some plumbing system actually. Just wait for a minute. Okay, now it's okay. So I hope this is clear to you. It's important one. Here, we have to also keep in mind one thing that uh, any simple function, can return a single value, not more than one value. Okay, that means here we written only a single value, that is a result. Here we written a single value, that is the area of circle. But it should not like that. You have to say multiple value, just like by using comma operator and other. It's not should not happen in program. For that also we have the provision. You can change it here. You can send it, but for that you have to use the pointer. It's a different concept. Meanwhile, if you get a chance to arrange one more session for the same, so at that time I will clear you about the pointer. If we get opportunity, then definitely we will try to cover it. Presently, you have to just keep in mind of this function concepts and how we can return a single value to the main function. Okay. Now, I just write one more program where I can explain you the flow of program, how the program will flow by using function. By using function. I hope I am audible to all of you. Just give me one confirmation. Hello. 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 Am I audible? Hello. Am I audible or not? Hello. So in function, if you define a different function, for example, like void Argentina, void Brazil, void Italy, budgets. So if we define one more function, here I print f message I'm me. Then I call function Brazil. And here I just use printf message I am correcting me. And it's no Brazil. Enter function I'm in Brazil. Then here we call one more function, that is Argentina. And here I just def I'm back in. Now as we define the function Argentina, so here I define that function as Jane. Yeah. Okay. Something required here. So edit copy, edit paste. And I just erase it. No need of this. Similarly, no need of this function presently. We just repeat our program in the two function Argentina and Brazil. So here we define two functions, one is Brazil, one is Argentina. Now you just look on the flow of the program, so you will clear the concept of function more proper way. So we just compile it, then we run. So this is the output. Just put one expression characters. Okay, now it's more clear to you. So this is the output. That is first you are in main function. Then from main we call the Brazil function, and you are in Brazil. And from that function you call one more function Argentina, and you are in get output. I'm in Argentina. Then after execution of that Argentina function, you will be back in a Brazil function. So you get a message, I'm back in Brazil. And from that function, you will finally back into the main. So you will get a output as I'm back in main. So first I start with the main, then it call the function Brazil, and we'll get output I'm in Brazil. From that function, you will call another function that is Argentina. So you get output I'm in Argentina. Then after execution, complete execution of Argentina function, you will return back to the Brazil, because from Brazil function, Argentina function will call. So you will get a output as I am back in Brazil. And after complete execution of that, you will go back in the main. So you will get output as I am back in main. So this is the all output about the program. Okay, and you will get an output like this. So this is all about the function topic. Today we cover it. Uh, After the next session, if we get a time, so we will definitely discuss about the pointers. So thank you very much.